Friday night. It has been such a busy day. I don't know what time are we on now. Jesus, it's nearly 8:45, right? Nearly 8:45. So that's how busy my day is because I've literally just stopped for breath and I need to go live with the guys. So I've still got some more stuff to do, clients to go back to. All good, all positive stuff, but geez, oh, busy. And it's part of what inspired me to come to you for this live and why I stopped drinking alcohol. Just want to share a bit about my why and what does that mean in terms of lifestyle, my decision around it, but also my experience around it too. And with it being a Friday night, you might be exactly doing that, out drinking alcohol right now, especially if you're on a work night out, because that tends to be the theme, right? Or you've got a social event, family, or wedding season. So alcohol is quite prevalent. And I was actually speaking to a client about this, and she said one of the things with having had cancer is that when people say, "Oh, you're not having drinking," she's like, "No, I don't drink because I had cancer or cancer treatments," and they're like, "Oh, fair enough," and they just leave her alone and kind of don't talk about that. And then that's the end of the subject. There's no pushing. But I think when you opt to give up alcohol because you just don't want to drink, people, especially family members, struggle with that. It's that whole thing around misery loves company. It's that enabling thing. So if you're drinking, they feel better about drinking. So they want to enable each other to go and drink. But for me, the question was around why am I drinking? Like, was there any good reason for drinking? And there really wasn't. I think I tended to use alcohol as a false energy. So when I got tired, so around about now, right, getting tired. So if I'd had a vodka and coke, I'd like, right, I've got energy, rattle through a whole load of work. But I call it false energy because it initially gives you that boost, that energy feeling. You end up staying up later, but then the next day you're like dragging your body around because obviously it's not got any nutritional value to your body. So your body's working hard to eradicate it. And whilst your body's working hard to eradicate the alcohol because it's a poison, then it's not processing any of the food that's in your system or the fat or any of the other things it's maybe doing because its priority is to protect you and get rid of the alcohol. But ultimately, for me, there just wasn't any good reason. And I have so much stuff I want to do this year. I mean, God, I can't believe we're at end of July, August next month. Jeez, oh, and there's loads of stuff I just haven't achieved yet. And at the start of the year, I just thought I don't have energy to give to waste on alcohol. And it's not saying that you always wake up hungover, but you'll wake up the next day and you'll be so lethargic. And it's that thing about dragging your body around, but also being lethargic, you can't be bored doing things and no energy to do what you want to do. And I just felt like with everything I'm doing right now and where I'm going and the movement I'm trying to create around female health, prioritizing yourselves, looking after yourself with whole foods, not with the fad diets, not punishing ourselves with exercise. For me, alcohol didn't fit in with that and that movement that I'm trying to create because I am one person running my company, Revive Fitness and Nutrition. So everything I do and all the different hats I wear, I need energy to do that. And if I add an alcohol to that, I'm not going to get to where I want to be. Or certainly it's going to take me a lot longer to get there. And it's not to say I won't ever have a drink. I mean, I've had about 8 drinks this year. I had some when I was on holiday in Canada, but I actually prefer the non-alcoholic cocktails. And then more recently, we were at an event with Castle Knives, and I had a couple of vodka and cokes there. It's funny with that came quite easily, those vodka and cokes. I thought, oh, it's how easily the habit could kick in again. But it's like that with most habits, they can easily creep back in. But it really is about with alcohol, what fuels you, what desires. And when I have the client conversations, more often than not, some of my clients have gone alcohol free too. Before I did, so they've been alcohol free for well over a year, some of them for many, many years. And the conversations is about energy and choice and just kind of feeling like it's not something that serves me anymore. And I think other people find it trickier when you're not drinking because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Because they're like, wow, look at how the power, or you feel like you're supposed to have a drinking problem, but it's not about that at all. It's just choosing your energy and your health over alcohol. And I think there's a lot of peer pressure. A lot of peer pressure, as I mentioned, family. My family are all big drinkers. The fact that I go out to events and my mum's like, "Oh, I'm having a bottle of wine," well, that's fine. Knock yourself out. I don't need to have a drink, and I'll have lots of non-alcoholic options. And as I say, they often taste better too. But there's often peer pressure from family, and they want you to prescribe to their lifestyle. And it does take courage, and it can involve a bit of conflict. And I see conflict in terms of that uncomfortable, like, oh, comments you get made, like, "Oh, it used to be so much more fun when you're drinking. Oh, you're no fun anymore." And it's that whole thing. Well, if that's how you view me, that's on you. That's not my experience. And I also think being around people who drink and drink to be drunk, and once they start to get leery, God, they're really not that interesting. And I feel, was I that boring, like repeating yourself? And so I actually find it really hard to be around people who are drinking to get drunk, because I do find it, yeah, quite boring, to be honest. The level of conversation, let's face it, goes down a notch, and people aren't as funny and as fun as they think they are. In their own heads, they are with the fixed alcohol, but they're really not. And I think, I've had clients go to book clubs where people are drinking, but they've taken like the zero gins, or they've pretended they've been drinking. Oh, I'll make up the drinks, or especially if they're having people around to theirs, and then they'll be in control making up the drinks, and then they won't actually be having a drink. And it's more and more common that people are going to the bar and pretending to have a drink and asking for a Coke, but in like a short glass. So the people they're with don't actually know that they're not having an alcoholic drink. And you think, wow, how do we get to a place that, like, in our early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, even to 50s, that we're having to pretend to drink? So because we don't have the pressure from people, but more and more people are choosing not to drink. And I think the availability of non-alcoholic options in bars and restaurants is growing more and more. So it's more of a positive thing. But I know my mum tried to sabotage me by buying me a bottle of vodka for my birthday. I was like, thanks for that, but she knows I'm not drinking. But hey, there we go. That's what I say about family trying to pull you in. It's untouched, and I'm actually not interested in it at all. My husband will have a drink, but I'm just not that interested, because I think everything I'm doing in terms of my fitness, my nutrition, since my knee op, I have gained some weight, and I think, wow, can imagine how much weight I would have gained if I'd been drinking, as well as just not being able to move as much and doing a bit of comfort eating off the back, having to go through physio again. Oh, like if I added alcohol to mix of that, yeah, it would have been even more spiral. We would consume overeating even more, not just in alcohol calories. So I think, well, what's so bad? You mentioned about energy. I quite fancy a drink. I quite like a drink. And if you like a drink, that's cool. That's not an issue. I think if you can stick to one drink or two drinks, or say when you've had enough, but if you find yourself having one drink and then you keep having more and more, as some people do, then you got to challenge that. It's got to be what's right for your body and your health. And I think alcohol in this country is seen as something you do for fun, but actually, let's be honest, it's not doing anything for your health. Some people say, "Oh, it relaxes me." Well, there at its start is a problem. I'm not criticizing you. It's just that once you get into if you like, the only thing that's going to relax you is a drink and alcohol, then where's that relieving the rest of your health? What's happening with your weight management, your stress management when you're not having a drink? What are the foods you're then eating because you've had a drink and you've got low energy the next day? What are the things in life that your dreams, the goals, the things you want to achieve, and you're not achieving them because you can't be bothered on the Sunday because you're woken up, and then you drink again on Sunday, and then Monday you've got no energy and you're hating your life and your job, but actually what it is a food and drink hangover from the weekend. So yeah, I just think it's one of those things that we need to kind of wake up as a nation and go, actually, does this serve us? Or at least, I mean, not everyone's not accepting. I go out with friends, and quite a lot of friends are like, oh yeah, I'm going to be good too. I'm not going to have a drink, and they're not into drinking now. They're like kind of like over that. One of my friends said, actually, which was really good. She said, I drank all my alcohol allowance in my 20s and my 30s. I feel like I've done that now. So I've had my lot of alcohol. So I feel like that's me done with it now, which is absolutely true. I think you go through that stage when you're younger, you do. But now as you get older, you do want different things and want to experience things. And people often say to me, God, Julie, how much energy have you got? How can you do all the things that you do? And I'm like, well, part of it is because I don't drink. Absolutely. And I think going through perimenopause, menopause, the hormone changes, knowing the association between mental health with anxiety, depression, and perimenopause, I didn't want to be drinking alcohol, which could add to any risk of that. I want to be the healthiest I can be mentally and physically, and just seeing the links with hormones, changing hormones, the things around weight, alcohol as people go through perimenopause, menopause. Then I want to go through that chapter. I want to go through this chapter of my life and not come out the back end with anxiety, depression, being overweight. I want to come out of it being in good health and saying, yeah, I experienced that. Yeah, this was harsh, that was difficult, but these are what I've done about it, and share my journey with you guys. And for me, that means alcohol not being part of it. But like I say, it's not to say I won't ever have a drink ever again. But yeah, it just doesn't really float my boat right now. I'm just not feeling it at all. And like I say, I've had different occasions and different events I've been on. I would say that some things you do get that little like pang of, oh, this is familiar. I'd normally have a drink now. I see when we were on holiday and I did have a couple, but I really didn't enjoy it. My energy next day was rubbish. So that helped. But I think, yeah, you do have associations, right? Associations with things, with drinks. Not too much now, because that's not really the life we live anymore. You know, I used to be known for the one who organised the gym parties, and we'd be out till 4 a.m., or we had a New Year's party around at mine till 6 a.m. in the morning and stuff. So yeah, I used to be that person, but I was always making sure everyone else was all right. So I think alcohol never relaxed me. I was more kind of like always watching, making sure everyone else was okay. And I think I've never been someone who fully relaxes, because I like to be in control. And alcohol is another one. And I'm not that keen on being around people who are under the influence, because I just think at any point they can turn. You know, something that can be like, oh, fun, suddenly they turn and there's an argument or there's a mood or something. And that's not to say that you can always avoid conflict, but I just think when it's alcohol fueled, it's less predictable or less controllable, something like that anyway. But yeah, I just don't enjoy being around drunk people, basically. So yeah, there's just loads of different reasons why I've stopped drinking. But ultimately, when it comes down to is, there's no good reason for me to have a drink. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't benefit me. It's empty calories. It doesn't serve me where I am in my life, where am I going, and what am I creating with the goals around where I want to go. So yeah, Maureen. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Lee. So yeah, that's the reasons that I decide not to drink alcohol. And I'm sure many people are drinking alcohol. And if you've been watching me, I'm on my 60-day, well, I say 60-day challenge. It depends how long it takes, but I'm on my challenge to get back down to 61 kg or 5,000 followers on Instagram, whichever one comes first. And that includes no fizzy drinks, no cakes, no crisps, and no, what's the other thing? No snack bars. So those four things, I'll have none of those until I get down to 61 kg or 5,000 Instagram followers, whatever comes first. So for me, alcohol isn't in there because I already don't drink. So it would have been like a cheat for me to say, I'm not going to have alcohol, I'm not going to have coffee, because actually I don't have those things anyway. So that would have been an easy breezy. Whereas crisps are my go-to, and fizzy drinks are hand in hand, and that's what I used to have with vodka, Coke, crisps. Whereas Coke and crisps have become a feature recently in my life, for comfort eating. Like going back to having the physio was just like, oh, sucked. So yeah, so cutting those things out, getting back down to my pre-op weight, and building my mission of healthier women. I've got the 14-day free challenge start on Monday. So yeah, there's lots going on, and I need my energy for that. I need my energy to serve other women. Really passionate about helping women who feel like they're alone, they're a bit lost in what to do around their weight loss, and just share my journey with you guys, and come along and join me too. All right, I'm going to get more water because I'm very thirsty today. Gotta love the hormones. But catch you all on Monday. Have a good weekend. Make choices that will right for you around alcohol. Tune into your energy, how you feel, mindset, what works for you and what doesn't. Try to stop doing it. Stop doing it. Don't be that people pleaser. Do what's right for you. Put yourself first. Take care, team, and I will see you on Monday.